Yeah, so welcome to our event. My name is Jasmine Han. I'm working for ESSEC. Actually, I'm the training and development manager, teaching the negotiation and also some strategies in terms of the business field. So I'm teaching the student and also external client as well. So on behalf of ESSEC, I really want to welcome everyone to come over here, and then I expect today's session will be wonderful and then take loads of takeaway for everyone as well. I just quick through it very shortly in terms of the ESSEC status. So as you can see, we do have a lot of strengths in Asia-Pacific. So I just want to highlight a few things. We do have about 4,400 full-time students. And also, the essay really believe that the value, one of the value is a social responsibility, and also very into the entrepreneurship as well. So in France, in Paris, we do have an incubator to support our students. So as you can see, since 2000, we do have about 180 companies that created as an entrepreneurship, as an incubator. And also, we do have some core value, innovation, humanism, responsibility, and diversity, and also excellence as well. So, women and ESSEC, well, as you can see, the ESSEC is the first French business school, and we accept the women into our school. They're from the year 1971, and the gender equality about 50% enrollment, and graduate is about 50% is women. We do have a very proud alumni here. The first one is, as you see, Dominique Lenich, and then she is the most powerful woman in the world, and appointed in the Fortune magazine, and quite many people knows about the Fleur Pelin, and then she is a minister of the innovation and also the science as well. We do have the campus in 3 different regions, the Cergy and Paris La Défense, and also Singapore. So this is kind of a big combination, so we can be a quite good bridge between Europe and Asia. So we do have a loads of French students here, and also we do have international students in our Paris campus and Cergy campus as well. This is the first time to coordinate, to work with the UN Women, but we expect that it's gonna be continuously develop each other, because as you can see, we are building a new campus around the Buena Vista area. So end of this year, we're gonna welcome you again in a bigger place, in a more better area. So hopefully we can join together in near future as well. So I'm gonna give this mic to the our UN woman, so the moderator. Yeah, please.
Right, so welcome everyone. I'm Nivi, just to introduce myself. So let's start the panel with our first panelist. We have Leza Parker here. So can I invite her to come?
Guys, before we start, we're just going to play a very short video. It's not going to take too long. It's going to be about 3 minutes, just a little bit about my history before we can start talking about my story. The aim of the purpose today is just to continue to inspire you on how home-based businesses turn into 4 businesses with CEOs and managers today. looking for a trailer of some movie. Okay, but I hope you enjoyed that. Just a brief history because, thank you. I've been in business for 4 years. If I try to tell you what happened last 4 years, it's going to take me another 4 years. So therefore, I show you a 3-minute video. Just a little bit about my history. Now, I'm a little bit nervous today. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. I've been talking to people every single week, to a crowd of 100, 200 people, but I'm still a bit nervous. Although actually, maybe I think I work out why. It's not because of all of you here. Because all of you together is still not equal to 3 of my children. They're actually rascals. But anyway, it's maybe because I'm wearing heels today. That's why I'm not pretty used to it. Okay, let's start. I was told initially that I only had 10 minutes today. So I'm going to tell you honestly that the slides you're going to see, it's not because I'm not putting in effort. It's only 5-page slide. Now today they're giving me a little bit more time. So I bribed them a little bit. So now they're giving me about 20 minutes. So I hope that if you have any questions, save it for the last part when we have the panel answering questions. And I hope to give you some inspiration and, of course, information about how the business developed over the last 4 years. Right? To be honest, before we start, I'm going to tell you the life of an entrepreneur. It's not easy. Whoever told you. Who's an entrepreneur here? Yeah? Would you agree that it has always been easy? Has it ever been easy? No, that's true. The honest truth is, we struggle in the beginning. We struggle middle. At the end, we're still struggling, by the way. We're still struggling. It's actually stability. Stability is not a bad thing. But entrepreneur, we have this condition. We feed on challenges. We cannot help it. We find it. No door, we open the door, knock everybody's door. Don't want to open, we're still knocking. We never go away. That's why we cannot do door-to-door sales. It's terrible, we keep on knocking people's door. But anyway, entrepreneur has a special skill. Okay, it's actually the brain of your mindset on how you work. Entrepreneur specializes in 2 things. 1, they like to seek. Go under the table, look for something. People, entrepreneurs, they love to seek. They're always finding opportunities. And when they find opportunities, what do? They pounce. So many opportunities, don't know which one to pounce first. I pounce all lah. Hire directors, you also must pounce. All of us are always seeking opportunities on a daily basis, all the time. That is why we are entrepreneurs. At the same time, the other thing is what entrepreneurs like to do is create. Don't be surprised, we don't only create solutions, we create problems. Yeah. So whenever we create our path, we take the path less traveled. Whenever we create our path, we purposely put the problems there just so that we can create solutions. And the next time when the problem comes, is it a problem? It's not. We solved it already. Okay, so these are the 2 things I feel that entrepreneurs should have. And hopefully that if you can change your mindset to continue seeking and to continue creating, you become a successful entrepreneur. Okay, this is the first company I built, babyboss.com. Actually, in the video, you've seen that I actually built the company from a home. Yeah, nothing to do. Okay, going back into history, when I gave birth to the 2nd child, apparently she doesn't have hair. So when she doesn't have hair and I took her around, I was getting a little bit offended when people were saying how handsome your boy is. She wears pink dress. And then after another time, somebody tell me, how old is your son? I have 2 sons. The daughter is always get mixed up because she has no hair. Funny, the boy has hair. The newborn boy has so much hair, but the girl was born bald. So after that, I start to think, hey, maybe I need to dress up a little bit. I wear pink dress, pink shoes, pink everything. People still think it's a boy. So I think this is a serious social problems. Mothers are probably having this problem as well, yeah? When you have people asking how handsome your son is. So in the end, I said, okay, we'll make something and decorate her head. This is her, by the way, when she's 8 months old. So we're going to put some fashionable accessories. So no hair, how to do clip? Where to clip? So we did a headband. So I went on YouTube and then I tried to find designs and things that I can buy from USA. The problem is, if you buy from USA, you pay the freight same price as the product. So I thought, okay, I'm going to pick up a skill. I'm going to make a bow. When I told my mother, she nearly jumped off her seat. She was telling me, you cannot even sew a button. How you make bow? Don't know how to on sewing machine. Never on sewing machine. Don't say sewing machine. Washing machine also I never on before. So in the end, I tried to make the bow and I said, okay, it looks pretty nice. So I let my daughter wear it and people start asking for it. So this is in 2009, October, when she was only 3 months old and I was about 24. So I said, okay, my friends start asking for it. Can you make it? Can you make it for me? So I said, okay, $10 lah. Cheap, cheap, $10. So I bought $100. I bought the ribbons, my first block of ribbons, and I remembered spending till 3 o'clock in the morning making it. So I start making for my friends, and more friends starts to order, and more friends starts to order. Back to social media sites. You realize sometimes, right, physically, you only have 10 friends. But on Facebook, you have 1,000 friends. Make a difference, huh? So I call them friends lah. So they keep on buying the bows from me. My friends, my Facebook friends, bought the bows from me. So I thought, hey, maybe there's a potential for business. So when I told my mother, she was, of course, very skeptical of the idea. I was actually a private tuition teacher at that time. So she was very skeptical. She says it's going to be a waste of time, a waste of money, don't do it, blah, 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 blah. I choose to believe that she genuinely cared for me lah. So after that, I said, Mom, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. So I've already made my decision as an entrepreneur. This is what I want to do. It doesn't matter what people is going to bother me with. Negativity, sarcasm, it doesn't matter. Because as an entrepreneur, there's only one way to go. Focus. People can come and put so many things on you, okay, trying to bother you. And you realize that if you are the owner of your business, you are also the driver. You steer your own ship. So if you are emotionally gila, cuckoo, because people bother you, then the problem is your ship is going in the wrong direction. So the most important thing as an entrepreneur is stay focused. Okay, so after that I went on to build the website, and then 6 months later, my friend gave me a call of a lifetime. So she called me and she said, hey, I see that you developed this product, right? I'm working at department store logistics manager, but my friend is the buyer. Would you like to see her for an appointment? Kanchong already. Never go appointment before. So I said, okay lah, I'm just going to go. Don't know what to do, but I'm just going to go and say something. So I did the presentation, prep months for it. I went for it. Never do presentation to buyer before, so don't know what question to expect. But I prepped for it. I believe in it. That was going to do well. So that's the other aspect of entrepreneur as well, belief. Even if the whole world is against your idea, it doesn't matter, because your idea cannot grow if you don't believe in yourself. The only thing that's stopping you is you, nobody else. So after that, I went for the presentation. I delivered the presentation on my lifetime, and she said, great, we have 7 stores. Here's 3 contracts. So we got the contracts, the first 3 contracts, but actually the contract meant nothing to me. The money also meant nothing to me. So what is it that I take home? An opportunity. That's what we seek, right? As an entrepreneur, an opportunity. So taking that opportunity, I said, hey, maybe I can create jobs with this opportunity. Maybe I can develop more businesses with this opportunity. And maybe 10,000 mothers will buy my books at some point. So that's what I believe, and that's what I pursued. So I start going to site. You think it's going to be easy, right? You get the contract. Every month get money one. Sure can kaya. But it's not true. I started to realize that I'm waking up at 4 in the morning from Singapore, flying to Malaysia, doing visual merchandising, chasing from stores to stores, still doing at home, packing the order. And I'm an alone person, so I'm doing everything myself. From making the bowl, from gluing the bowl, from packing the bowl, from putting it on the shelf, also me. Okay, so everything is me. So people ask me, who's the visual merchandiser? Okay, I see. Who's the owner? Who's your accountant? Okay, so after that, I went to the shop and it was getting really tiring, but I pursued it because I believe so much in it. So in the end today, after that, we start bidding for Toys R Us, Mothercare, start bidding to Metro Jaya, Parksons Online, Malaysia biggest retailer, Watsons. These are names that you already know. These are retailers, right? And you think that I'm a home-based business, they're not going to give me any contracts. Don't be surprised, because they don't care how big your office is. They just want to know how much you can give it to them. Are you determined? Are you committed to your idea? Are you going to leave your contract halfway? So if you believe and you go across the table and you sell your product like you never sell anything before, okay, you sell your product wholeheartedly. So they gave me 54 contracts, which is why Baby Boss is now in 54 department stores serving 10,000 mothers on a daily basis. We contracted China to do our productions. We control the design. We do our packing in Malaysia. That's where our head office and distribution is. In Singapore is the sales office. So that is the brand that grew from home 4 years ago. So next. So after we got some funds, first time hold so much money. Don't know what to do already. Should I buy Gucci bag or should I? Okay, never mind. I still don't have Gucci bag. If you like to buy, my birthday is November 6. Spendless Cosmetic, we decided to build this company because we don't want to do just products. So we wanted to came up with an opportunity, which you see a brochure here, given to you, to help people earn money. Okay, Singapore is very expensive. We cannot deny it. Okay, nowadays if you have one child, childcare, MMI charge you 1,002. MMI is Montessori, by the way, 1,002. So if I have 3 children, you calculate how much my bill I have to pay. It's 3,006 just to send 3 children to preschool. So understanding that the raise of the standard of living in Singapore is getting higher, we came up with a program called Spender's Cosmetics. Spender's Cosmetics is a program, so whereby people from home-based businesses or people who want to earn a side income, they can join this program for about $200. And inside this program, you get to access thousands of cosmetics at wholesale price. So what cosmetics? Next question people ask. So we partner with USA liquidators. We buy shipments and container loads and pallets of branded cosmetics from L'Oreal, Maybelline, Revlon, Rimmel, Mary Kay and Ashley Olsen, and YX. Everything from United States. I cannot tell you my cost price lah, in case you join my program, right? I want to say the cost, I cannot. Sorry. Against my company policy, I might get sued. So the product, we bring it from USA, and then we sell it to our resellers for $5. So if you buy a Maybelline mascara, right, how much does Watson sell? Don't lie, you all wear mascara, I know it. How much does Watson sell a Maybelline mascara? 16? When it's on offer. That's when I go lah, when it's on offer. Okay, $16, $20, $21. You buy the foundation powder, the liquid foundation. We sell it only for $5. Wow. Tomorrow go to my website shop already.
Online? It's online. Online.
Its showroom is in Malaysia, but Singapore is an online presence. So in Singapore online, so we tell people, you join this program, you sell these thousands of makeup, we give you the catalog, you just sell it to your friends and your family who always use this brand anyway, and you buy it for $5. So you can sell it for 12, you can sell it for 14, you can sell it buy 3 get 1 free, whatever how you want to sell it. However, we make it affordable. We don't earn so much, by the way, because we earn in quantity. So we spend the money to invest in the shipment so that the people in Singapore could start to earn extra income. And believe it or not, makeup is so easy to sell because it's an investment for a woman. Go interview, wear makeup. Go school, wear makeup. Go work, wear makeup. Go dating, no date, also wear makeup. So people need to use makeup all the time. So we thought this is a brilliant idea. So up to today, there's a couple of hundred people already in the program since 2011. We're going into Malaysia. My new CEO is going to build a showroom. So by the end of this year, we hope to give these jobs to another 2,000 Malaysians so that they have the opportunity to change their life income. So they can earn more. This is the second company that we built. Next, we have the LP network. Okay, so after I do everything, people start bugging me. You need to teach people how to do. How to change from home base to out of home. Okay, we want to get out of our home. We don't want to see our husbands anymore. We want to leave and do something. So they asked me how to do it. So I decided to come up with a consultancy firm early last year, called the LP Network. The LP Network is a professional consultancy firm that delivers business and coaching programs specifically for startups and entrepreneurs. Very specific. There's about 16 comprehensive courses that you will need as startups. For example, presentation skills. For example, accounting for home-based businesses, or brand management, get into your stores, how to blog to influence. These are essential courses that we work out that entrepreneurs need. Having all these essentials, you can move your business to the next level. Now, the next question you might ask me, who wrote these courses? I did. So I wrote all these 16 business courses, including case studies, including theories, including assignments. This is endorsed by the government, Singapore Malay Chamber of Commerce. So basically, this product is already sitting on a local, quite a good standard. So now we also hired 24 business consultants to deliver it on our behalf. So every day, we see entrepreneurs and we help them grow their ideas into businesses with our courses. So this is why we built the consultancy firm. I've also wrote myself my first book. It was launched last month to a couple of hundred people, which I personally signed. You can download a free e-copy. This one will tell you what happened the last 4 years. Got a warning, I told my staff, if you give this book away, remember, must give a packet of tissue because it will make you cry lah. It's honest story because as an entrepreneur, it's not easy. Okay, there are times that we cry in our room, we just don't tell you. We do. Okay, there's many times. Sometimes I say, I'm not going to work today, I'm just going to inside that corner there, in the dark corner there, I'm going to cry. Okay, which is completely okay because entrepreneurs, it's not easy. Okay, this one, after that, I don't know, decided too much money already. No, I'm kidding. So last year, somebody came to me with a very good idea, a baker. She came to me last year and she told me, hey, let's make a baking studio where all the bakers in Singapore who is baking at home, you know what happened in Singapore, right? If you bake at home, shh, cannot say so loud. Okay, what happened in Singapore? Actually, in Singapore, you are not allowed to bake commercial orders at home. Okay, those who are guilty, never mind, I won't tell anything. Just send me cupcakes tomorrow to my office. So basically, during the time when the government were very strict on home bakers baking at home, they have no choice. They need to find a kitchen. And a kitchen is relatively very expensive to rent. a fully commercial kitchen. So last year, nothing to do. When she told me the idea, I said, hey, that's fantastic idea. After that, she said, okay lah. I told her, you become a director lah. Simple. So after that, we spent some money and we built the baking studio last year where we did the official opening in November. On the official opening, we had about 12 sponsors, about 150 people turn out to see the baking studio. And you can see how people can now happily bake. Okay, this one is for drama only. Actually, I don't bake. Just like the picture of me. So baking right now, because of these premises, people can what? They can continue their passion. They can bake commercial orders starting to supply to schools or events. And at the same time, they can continue their passion by teaching it to other people and earn an income. So as you can see, this development is not for me because I'm not a baker. Trust me, I will burn this kitchen if I'm there. Okay, the reason why we bake this is so that we can socially impact people on how that they can make an income by being entrepreneurs as bakers. And remember, bakers, to you, they are like bakers. But bakers is very creative. True? I know, the one who's nodding is bakers, I know. And I say, bakers are very creative people, so we should support entrepreneurs in terms of their creativity, which is one of the reasons why we built this channel. So far it's 4. In 2 months' time, we will launch our makeup studio so that all makeup artists can start renting to do makeup. I should go for the classes also, so I'm not quite sure to wear makeup. Before I end, okay, I think I talked too much. Before I end, I'm just going to introduce you to an event. This is the event that we did on 1st of March at Furama City Hotel because we launched our physical books, the book that I wrote. This 27th of April, if you are free, I would like to invite you to the event at Furama. The form is on the table. During this day, I launched 16 business pocket books, which will go into the stores later, but come on, that day is free. Come lah, don't buy in the stores. Okay, it's free. Okay, you can also ask me whether I want to sign or not lah. So if you don't want me to sign, it's okay. You also can sign, never mind. So the book has 2 volumes. I already wrote the 16 courses, so now I wrote it in concise version of business pocket books so as to continue to inspire people. Next time, if you want to read a little bit more about business planning, just take out the book and you can read some concepts that might be useful for you. Okay, and at that day as well, you get a goodie bag worth $299. Speller's Cosmetics is sponsoring 10 branded cosmetics that day for you to take home. Okay, powders, blushes, and whatever. If you're a guy, I'm so sorry. There's no substitution. But you can always give it to a girlfriend or a wife on the day that you make her mad. And then we have also 8 business pocket books that signed by me and other goodie bags. This event is going to be filled up with about 30 sponsors. So you're going to take home relatively quite generous goodie bag. You come home and your husband says, you went shopping, is it? No, I went to Leza Parker's network. Okay, so I would really like to see you. If you like to come for that day, do come. It's a 4-hour event for business breakfast. And the good thing is you're going to network with so many entrepreneurs because we're expecting 250 people. Full house. So I hope, I don't think I can take questions now. So yes, I'm going to end it anyway. But thank you for listening and I hope you had a good time listening to me. Thank you.
So thank you, Leza. In case you are wondering, Leza Parker is one of our lady bosses featured in this book by the Singapore business gurus, Lady Bosses. This book is available through all major bookstores, and you can also find out about more lady bosses. So just to carry on, our next speaker is actually not one of the lady bosses, as our other panelists had to drop out at the last minute, but we have a fantastic replacement. Can I please call Eunice Olsen? So I'm going to let her tell you more about herself, since she's probably the best person to do that.
I'm really sorry I don't have a presentation about you. I'm very privileged that Winnie thought about me 2 hours ago. I was like, oh, okay. I should carry something in the thumb drive that I carry in my bag. But thank goodness to the internet. They have downloaded my videos for you to watch. Speaking of piracy, no, I'm just kidding. No, but it's really very nice for me to be here today. Minnie and her team are really amazing people. I work with them on a few different projects. And what I'm going to kind of talk to you a little about today is one of the projects that I work with them with. I think Leza has told you everything you need to know about entrepreneurship, so let me tell you from a struggling entrepreneur's point of view. Everything you said is there. So, Well, it's kind of it's a business. It's I struggle a little bit trying to term it whether it's social enterprise or business, but I would like to think that you can be profitable and do good at the same time. So the business that I'm involved in is an online women's program. It's called Women Talk TV. The website is womentalktv.asia. It's completely online. It's basically a web program where we go around Asia and we find women with amazing stories. We tell their stories and we put them online. Well, the site basically is all the videos are there. People can post, like for example, if you have a good story and you want to interview somebody or you just want to share a story, you can post your own videos as well. So we're like a little mini YouTube for women. We want to eventually become a collection point for just inspiring stories of women around Asia and around the world. I started this, well, we just launched the business, so again, Struggling Entrepreneur in August 2013, last year. I spent 2.5 years before that developing the videos and going around Asia and finding these women. And how it all began was in 2011, I was hosting a variety show. So my background is in hosting and acting. I was in politics as well for 4.5 years. And so I had the opportunity to work with different NGOs, different VWOs in Singapore as well as in Asia. And just, really learning from them about issues on the ground. And also was hosting it as well. So in 2011, I was hosting a program, a variety program. And the woman I was interviewing, it was for like a paid presentation. So the woman I was interviewing, she told me that her husband didn't want to take her out of the house because she had put on a lot of weight. But now that she had lost all this weight, her husband was really kind of happy to take her out again. And so without trying to be too rude, I obviously then turned to the camera and started to berate the husband in the most diplomatic way I could possible. And of course you could feel feel the entire room, the director, the cameraman, as well as my co-host, kind of all freeze up. They're like, just let Eunice say, we'll just take this out of we'll edit this out. So I was really affected by what she said, but I'm not married, I do not have children. I thought after that, I was very affected by what she said, but I didn't want to judge her because I have no right to judge her and to say, why you still anyway, and so I went for dinner with my team. My manager was there, my makeup artist was there, and I said, how many other women feel like this? I don't know what it's like. I don't claim to want to know anything of why people stay in certain relationships. I have no right to judge. I said, but all this training that I have, there must be something that we can do. There must be something that we can possibly do to bring these women together to talk about these issues. And women, we like to talk. We love to chat, we love to talk, but sometimes we don't talk about things that really affect us. Sometimes we don't talk about things that make us sad. Sometimes we don't talk about things that need to be talked about. And so Women Talk TV literally started at that point as an idea over dinner. And that's how it began. And then we said, okay, what do we do? And so it's all started at my dining room table. Everybody came together, and my manager and two other persons, and I said, okay, how do we do this? And so we started to map out and say, okay, why do we want to do this, right? The why is very important. So we thought, okay, firstly, we wanted women out there to just have, and sometimes, I know that I'll maybe never be a very, very top CEO, I'll never be, super successful or anything, but I want to just know another woman's story and maybe be inspired by what she's doing, and whatever that we have, we do with what we have, and maybe try to go beyond that. And so we say, okay, if we can get women to tell these stories, then maybe that could inspire other women to say, okay, this is what I'm doing, and it's something that I've always wanted to do at the back of my mind, and maybe she's tried it, and maybe I can too. So we started Women Talk TV because we wanted other women out there to feel inspired by these stories. But second thing, we wanted to start Women Talk TV is also we wanted women out there in certain situations to know, number one, they're not alone. Number two, that there's help out there. And that's how Women Talk TV literally began. And so what happened was that we approached a TV station and we said, okay, we have this idea for our show. They loved it. They said, well, you have to shoot a pilot. Okay, so we shot a pilot. as with any business, you have to put forward an investment, and we shot a pilot. And we pitched it to the station, and they loved it. They said, okay, we'll help you find sponsors and everything. And of course, all that fell through. And then I ended up having to knock on many doors, which was all closed on me. So totally understood what you said. Yes, and we still are. And so all that fell through. And then I remember shooting the pilot. The woman that we interviewed was Yip Pin Siu. I don't know how many of you are familiar with her, but she's Singapore's first Paralympian. She won the first gold medal for Singapore at the 2008 Beijing Olympic Games in swimming. Not many people know who she is, unfortunately, but she's just amazing, amazing young girl, and she won the medal when she was 16. She suffers from muscular dystrophy. And as we were shooting that final scene with Pin Siu, I thought to myself, wait a minute, everything that I've ever done, whether it's politics or hosting or working with different VWOs, working on different issues, everything is coming together in this program. And it made so much sense to me at that time, and I just felt, you know what, I can't stop at a pilot. There is no way, you know, and you're looking at something and you go, and I just finished an interview, actually I just came from an interview, you know, and I was telling my friend, I said, how lucky I am to love something more and more every day, and with every interview that I do. And the company is still in the red, and we're still knocking on doors, and we're still trying. And it's still self-funded. Well, we worked with SK2 last year, which I'll talk about later, but we're still going. But every interview that I do and every story that's being told to me, it's amazing how, you know, it keeps growing and it just keeps getting, it's something that I keep falling in love with over and over again. And so I thought, you know what, I'm not going to wait for anybody to come and give me a program. I'm not going to wait for anybody to give me money. I'm just going to put my money where my mouth is and do this. So it's basically a self-funded program up to this point. We want it to be sustainable, of course, and I'll tell you how we're working towards that. And so we did. And so we started to work with research writers. So my team is very lean. It's just me, my manager, and my lovely interns who didn't know about this talk, and that's why they're not here today. But we have a very lean team. But every time we shoot a video, we get a cameraman, a sound man, and these wonderful production people, and we go with them. So we've been to Malaysia. We filmed a rape survivor who now owns a rape shelter. She helps women to deal with issues of rape, and she just emailed me a couple of days ago. She's doing a master's in, I think, counseling to help these women. We filmed in the Philippines with, which I think you will see very soon, a lawyer turned social entrepreneur with the longest held female political prisoner during the Marcos years in the Philippines. I went to Burma to film with Cham Tong, who started this thing called the Ashan Women's Action Network. She helps thousands of refugees who come from the Shan states in Burma to cross over to Chiang Mai. She works with them. She has programs for the women, for the children. At the age of 16, she stood up in front of the UN. She told them about the systematic rape that the Burmese army were inflicting on the women. She was 16, and now she's 32, and she runs the Swan Network, which is really amazing. We've been to Thailand to film with women who rescues elephants from illegal logging. And we've had so many wonderful women in Singapore, and I think some we're going to put up for you to see as well. And so we've grown. We're very small. We just launched in August last year. We have a collection of 10 videos now in season 1, and now we're starting to film season 2. 1 month, the day of my launch, my website didn't really work. It was such a disaster. You think like, yeah, we're finally at launch, and then like, oh, it doesn't work. So I had all these messages going like, why is it? Like, why am I not able to share your videos? So we had a major, it was a disaster. And then the next day I found myself having like a 7-hour meeting with my developers. I'm like, what happened? And you're like, I'm so sorry. But anyway, you know, you think, like you said, you think it's like, yeah, we've got to this point, and then another problem comes along. So, but the website is, thank goodness, it's fixed now. Everything is okay. So we're continuing to, we're going to continue to film the videos. 1 month later, I get an email from SK2. I met them a year ago, and we, like I said, I've had the door slammed shut on me so many times. After a while, you're like, okay, what's new? Story of my life. 1 month later, SK2 sends me an email and said, we want to work with you on a series of empowerment films on women, because we're trying to get the message of empowerment out there to our women, and we're not sure how. And I'm like, yes, that's what I do. I nearly fell down the escalator at Raffles City. I remember this very clearly, and I was like, are you serious? And you know, I'm quite a slow reader, but I was like, you know, and we're really happy to work with them. And so we worked on a series of 3 videos with SK2, and that was a kind of a little bit of a boost for me because I really nearly gave up. So we did 8 videos before our launch in August 2013, and the 8th video that we were going to launch was actually the Haslina Yaakob, who is the rape survivor that now has a rape shelter in Malaysia. The morning of the interview, I was with my team in KL, with the production team, and I was like, you know what, I'm done. I can't do this anymore because I was working on a film at that time and this movie, and I had given up a lot of other hosting jobs and jobs on TV for Women Talk TV. And I was running out of money. I still am. You know, and I couldn't anymore. It was just so tiring, and I had nothing left, and I had moved out of my house. I moved back to my parents. Yeah, and it was just tough, you know, and so I thought, okay, we'll just take these 8 videos that we filmed together with Haslina. So we were going to go to the interview, and I remember having this in my head. I was like, we'll just put it out there, and I'm done. And it was a great ride, and thank you, everybody. And then I went for the interview, and it was a very, very emotional interview for Haslina and myself, because it's not easy for a woman to have to talk about this. And it wasn't like she was recounting the incident, but she talked about every time she counsels somebody, it comes back to her. The pain comes back to her. And she said one thing that just made her cry, and she said, and if you watch the video, she said, you know, sometimes the hurt, it's not the rape itself, but when your community and your family doesn't support you. And that was the hardest thing for me to hear, because I could not imagine anybody having to go through that. So that was a very emotional interview for both Haslina and me. And after the interview, I said to her, I said, you know, Haslina, thank you very much for this. I mean, I know it's not easy for you to, you know, keep talking about this. And she said, no, Eunice, thank you. Because if you don't tell the stories, who will hear about them? And that's it. That's ever since that statement from her, every day when I wake up and I go, oh my God, what am I doing in my life? I will never, ever, ever, I have never, ever since then thought about giving up ever again. And it's just little, all my Women Talk TV interviews are all like little miracles to me. Every one of them has such a beautiful message, and I've come to realize that Women Talk TV has grown beyond what I want and what I want to do, because it is a program that it is my duty to keep going, to draw every single powerful message and put it out there for women to be able to relate with and to share. And so we are really still struggling. I mean, we're really fortunate. We've had the UN Women that we're partnering with. We have online partners and that can, like Blinks.com is a video search engine in the US with Vicky as well. We're about to partner them. And we're trying to build kind of partners online so that the content can be generated out, and also it then can create revenue sharing. And of course, the more we build a community, then we can go into digital advertising as well. And like what we did with SK2, which is co-creation of content. So I'm really making this up as I go along, because everybody's like, so what's your business model? And I'm like, I'm thinking about it. No, seriously, we have strategic meetings every week, and I'm like, so what is the business speak? And we're literally making it up because this is really new, and it's really very few precedents for us to follow. We're not a TV station or anything. But I was in New York 3 weeks ago with my manager, and we got an email saying that Women Talk TV has been nominated for an International Emmy Award. And it was very emotional for us to know that, you know, that the work is being recognized. And like I said, it really was more than, oh, yay for us, but it was more the fact that people are recognizing that, you know, women have amazing stories to tell, and this is really a tribute for us to the women that we interview, a tribute for us for the women out there who don't have a voice, whom we want to get to and give them a voice. So the program has to go beyond me. It has to go beyond what I want, and so we want to partner with more people, whether it's online, and of course, and eventually also try to syndicate out the content. So what we sell is content, because I believe in that very much. I believe in consumers changing their behavior on just watching TV into going online. All the videos are between 3 and 10 minutes, so, you know, for short attention span like me, you know, it's kind of very palatable. And if you want to find out more of the women, there's information on the page as well. So every woman has a page. All their Facebook information, you know, their website information, and is there. Most of the women also, if they choose to, they can nominate an organization, and there's a donate function for you to immediately donate to them. Every 6 months, what we do is we write a check to the women. We owe, for the donation platform, we don't earn money from it as well, at all. We only charge for just admin charges in terms of transferring the money to them, and for PayPal charges as well. And that's all. So I always tell people that it's like what Leza said as well. It's never easy. Every day, sometimes you wonder like, oh, where am I going with this? What am I doing? You know, on days, especially days where I have to do accounts, and like, oh Lord, give me strength. But then you know what I do? Every morning when I wake up, we have an app. So if you want to download the app, I go to the app, I click on it, and I watch a video. And that keeps me going the rest of the day. And you know, we never thought we would ever be recognized by the Emmys. We are the only, I think, Asian country other than Japan. But I mean, in our category, we're Canada, Israel, and I think, I don't know, the UK. But I think it was just an affirmation to us that, you know, an idea that can start so small, that can grow, and that can people believe in. But I think the most important thing, to reinforce what you say, is you gotta believe in it. And it will be so hard. It'll be so tiring and so painful, and you want to give up and curse and swear and just like forget it and throw everything away, and it happens all the time. But then you look around you, and the people, the 2 or 3 people who affirm you, who believe in you, and say, you know what, keep doing it and don't give up. And like for me, I watch the videos every day, and I can tell you, like, you know, the number of views per video. I'm so obsessive. I was like, oh, it went up by 3, yes! So, and I see these stories again every day, and I talk about them, and it just keeps me going, and this is really what keeps, I guess, entrepreneurs going, is by believing in your idea. And so, I think, excuse me, I will be doing you a huge disservice, sorry, if I don't show you the Women Talk videos, so here they are. Thanks.
Listen, and you will hear stories of beauty, strength, and inspiration. Let's talk Women Talk. Cassandra Chiu is a mother and founder of her own counseling practice, The Safe Harbor. She became visually impaired at the age of 8 due to an inherited degenerative eye condition called Stargardt disease. She may have lost her sight, but she never lost her sense of purpose and determination in life. What drives one to live life to the fullest? Cassandra, I really admire how you've overcome your disability, and it must have been quite a journey for you to get here. So can you share a little bit about this journey with us?
Well, I won't say it's a difficult journey, but I got pushed into it, and my mom was a big influence on who I am as a person today. She never gave me any discount for being visually impaired. I was expected to do everything else that every other kid was expected to do. Go to school, do the chores.
And what did she make you do?
Well, everything. I had to do the dishes, wash the toilet, and all that sort of stuff. So it did train me and put me in the right mindset. That doesn't mean I have one disability. I can use that as an excuse, and I still have to find different ways around achieving what I want to achieve without sight.
How was it like when you realized that you eventually kind of lost your sight? Because I know it was a gradual process for you. Right?
Well, I was aware that it's an eventuality when I was first diagnosed when I was about 8. And it took a number of years for that to happen, but I was so focused on just trying to be a normal kid and being able to play hide and seek and catch and do the regular stuff and be the best student in class. I think I was sort of focused on, unfortunately, maybe the wrong things. Because I did get quite upset. It was hard trying to play catch without sight, or hide and seek, or be the top student when I couldn't exactly read the board. And then later on, when I realized and accepted my limitations and challenges, and I worked around those, and I found ways to overcome those physical limitations, I found that I was able to do so much better, and I was much more content and happier.
And what gives you strength, and where do you get this drive and strength from?
I don't look at it as anything special or strength or drive, as you put it. To me, it's more like you just put one foot in front of the next and get going.
And when did you want to become a psychotherapist?
Even way back as far as when I was in school, I always thought that it would have been great if there was someone here to mentor me and teach me what to do and guide me along the way. And later on, when I became older, I realized that would have been the role of a counselor or a psychotherapist. And I looked at alternatives on how I can become such a person.
So how was it applying to school? And you did a course overseas. How difficult was that, trying to get into a course?
It was challenging. I applied to a couple of different universities, got rejected by some, and basically I was told that by one of the unis that, you know, we don't quite care what your results are or whatever, as long as you do have a disability, we're not able to admit you into the uni. So it was disheartening, but you know, just pushed on and looked for different unis, and eventually I did find one, and my school was great.
So you've had quite a career. I mean, you started off being a sportswoman, and then after that you went into set up your own practice. Then you became a mother.
Yes.
How has
that's quite a full-time job too.
Yeah. I was just going to ask, you know, how has motherhood changed you?
Big time. I would say, I think the day I became a mom, I realized that, hey, you know, I can't be dependent on somebody. Somebody else is dependent on me now. It doesn't matter whether I'm blind or not. I only have one shot to be the best mother in that sense. So it changed me that way. And I can't say I learned to be more independent, because I always have done many things on my own. But it gave me a greater sense of responsibility.
I'm just trying not to laugh. Just not to laugh. It's so cute. She's dreaming.
She is. She's probably chasing cats.
I will follow you out of the dark.
And so how has Esme changed your life?
In many ways, I think she's given me back that freedom of independence, that I'm able to go to different places that I want to go and leave when I want to go. And I don't have to be fearful of being unsafe when I move around on my own.
What are the reactions that you get, like, for example, in a place like that? If it wasn't a regular place?
Well, it can go both ways. It's like, what's a dog doing here kind of thing. That's quite common. Despite there being legislation in place that allows guide dogs into such establishments, sometimes people are sort of like thinking that this may be a pet and they're not allowed inside a food establishment, and they're concerned.
And what do you think can be done better to make people more aware of having guide dogs in Singapore?
Well, I think if all supermarkets and food establishments can put up a guide dog friendly decal in their shop, but it makes it a lot easier for the customers and also the staff that are on the ground to know that guide dogs are allowed.
I know you work a lot as well with other people who are visually impaired.
Yes, I do.
It's a program called New Perspective.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit more about that program?
It's something I set up on the side, and I felt that I've received and been blessed so much in my life, and I hope to be able to contribute a little back to my community and help to make a little small difference and change what it means to be blind for some people, because I think blindness is a mere inconvenience that can be overcome with the right mindset and with the right tools. See, when you use a white cane, you can still navigate around obstacles. So are you a little bit more confident now that even without sighted help, you can hear where the road is, and also, you see, you can feel that there's a curb here.
Okay.
So once you reach that, there's actually the road.
Yeah, back up.
So you want to back up, come back here.
Okay.
What do you think are some of the biggest difficulties that people who are visually impaired face in our society?
I think very much like me is the attitudes, the societal attitudes towards them, and the lack of opportunity for them to realize their potential. Often is the mindsets of society that sort of put us in a box and handicap us.
Well, at any point in our life, if you felt like this was so tough that you didn't know what to do, have you ever felt lost, basically?
Thankfully for me, life was kind of like a freight train, just rushing me along, and I progressed from one challenge or climbing one mountain to another. And yeah, there are times where I feel tired and energyless, but when I wake up the next morning, it's a new day again, and we start all over.
And what keeps you going?
Life itself. I think life is beautiful, it's worth living, and there's so much that can happen in a day, and I can't wait to have the next day and to experience the next day and see what life has in store for me.
And Cassandra, what is empowerment to you?
To me, that's the ability or the privilege to be entrusted with responsibility to lead a normal, independent, productive life.
I love your fervor, your drive. It's really addictive. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. I think a lot of us take what we have for granted, and you've just really put us to shame.
Yeah, well, I just do what I can.
Well, Cassandra, thank you so much for just spending the day with us, sharing with us, and just showing us this incredible and indomitable spirit of yours.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this interview. Thank you.
Cassandra
proves that disability is not an ability. Her passion for life is a source of hope and inspiration to all.
So the next one is so this is well, that's an example of a Singapore interview, and this is one in the Philippines. She's a lawyer turned social entrepreneur. Also very young girl, and very beautiful story. It's 3 minutes. So.
What is beauty? What is courage? What gives one strength to inspire? Let's talk Women Talk. Chilka Alvarez is a public defender who's traded the bench and bar for grass and goats. With no experience, she started a cheese-making social enterprise at the Gawat Kalinga Enchanted Farm, a center for social innovation in the Philippines. Amazingly, her company Gourmet Queso has in a short time managed to produce award-winning cheese products.
Gawat Kalinga is a nation-building movement with the aim of providing homes for the homeless, land for the landless, and food for the hungry. But when I got here, it was just these rows of villages and lots of mud.
So why did you start cheese making?
To be perfectly candid, just really started as a joke. I saw, whoa, okay, there's a lot of grass. So why don't we have goats who would lawn mow the grass? And it kind of made sense then. It must have been part insanity, part stupidity, part premature midlife crisis.
How many man-hours did you spend in the kitchen trying to make cheese?
For the really good cheese that I think we produce now, it took us quite a while. Several weeks, maybe months. And now we offer 8 varieties. This is Maricel. She's our gourmet cheesemaker. When I feel like giving up, I think of our cheesemaker, Maricel. She's the reason why I stay on and do this in spite of all the hiccups.
I'm happy to become my partner.
She used to toil under the scorching sun every morning to sell her eggplants. But now she gets to work just a few meters from home, and she still gets to look after her kids and make so much more.
Oh, the taste of the truffle is so strong, but so good.
Thank you.
This is one of the best cheese I've ever tasted. I think homemade cheese is just the best. Well done.
Thank you.
I'm glad you liked it.
This is a queso puti organic cheese.
Can I have more?
Yeah.
I get a kick out of it every time people think it's imported from France or elsewhere. And I tell them, no, it's made by our Gawat Kalinga community partners.
So what is empowerment to you?
I think I could best describe empowerment by portraying what my community partner, Maricel, answered in her survey. Instead of putting the traditional, I hope to have more food on the table, she puts there, I hope we get a bigger kitchen so that our business would become more successful. She really feels she owns the business. She really has a stake in it. So that's empowerment for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chilka represents the wave of young, socially responsible Pinays, driven to make the Philippines a better place for all.
there you have it. We always ask the empowerment question at the end, and it's very interesting for me to see how the entire interview actually gets summarized in that question. So I guess my question to all of you today is, what is empowerment to you? Thank you so much.
Please come back and join us. Leza, can I invite you as well? So we have heard from our fantastic speakers on their experience and what they've done so far. So now it's your chance to ask questions and find out more about them and also the way they operate their businesses.
I was almost in tears, when I listened to your sharing and the video, and I think...
Sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry, I don't mean to put you...
and I think if I can feel so inspired and so moved, I think the whole woman in the world can feel the same way. So I really thankful that you do this job. My questions to you is, you do it out of self-funding and really out of your passion, you believe, and it still goes red, and you don't have the income, you even have to sacrifice your income for that. First thing is, what's kind of obstacle that you're facing, a kind of rejection that you get, and how do you discipline your disappointment to keep moving?
How do I, sorry, what's the second
How
part?
do you discipline your disappointment?
How do I discipline my disappointment? I like that. I love these questions.
No, because you still keep going, other than watching that video every day,
Well, coming to the first part of your question is, you were asking about how am I going to basically sustain it? Oh, obstacles, sorry. So I talked a bit about sustainability. Obstacles, well, many different ones, because we don't really have a precedent like, there are no preceding companies kind of who have done this. I mean, apart from how, if I try to compare myself with MediaCorp, which I obviously cannot. So we are not just an online, it's not a documentary, so it's an ongoing series, and it's an online kind of web series, but, trying to still be sustainable and yet do good at the same time. Well, I hope to get at the same time. I think the obstacles, of course, is a lot of people ask me, what's your business model? I don't have one yet. So I'm still working on it. We are really, like I said, making it up as we go along. So it's just, okay, how do we, what we need to do? Okay, we need to, so I guess the thing about me is I need to identify what, okay, how do I get it to sustainable point, right? So, okay, we need to grow the content. So, okay, growing content will require investment. So that's on our part. We have to give a chance for the business to grow. That's the way the content business works. Okay, then the second thing is then in terms of digital advertising, we have to grow our community, right? So how do we grow the community? Then those are the kind of things we have to think about. So online social media, so we have to engage our viewers, and it's not just posting stuff that's engaging. For me, it's going beyond that. How do I really get my viewers to respond to me? That's why the site itself has a function for people to upload their own stuff. And of course, when we go to functions and events, we ask people, let's say, what's empowerment to you, and we post it up. So we also collect content as we go along. Then building the community then would mean that if you grow enough numbers and enough views, then you'll be able to monetize through digital advertising. So I guess the obstacle comes in identifying what is it that you need to do and how to get to a certain step, and then going beyond that. So that means identifying that and then saying these are the steps that we need to put in place. And I think the biggest thing is we don't know what other obstacles are going to come. It seems that every day there's always something different. And then there's like, okay, so we do the video, and then how do we really get people to engage on social media, because this is not working, how do we try that? So I think there are different obstacles all the time. And then I think another thing is explaining this to people as well. So because it's a very new concept, a new business, it's also kind of trying to sell the idea. So we're always evolving in that as well. My speak and the way I sell the product and everything changes as as time goes by. And so we're going to Cannes for the nominee presentation in April, and so it's a big kind of a TV conference in Cannes, and then how I'm going to sell the product there is going to be different as well, because you're talking to people in this industry and they know what you're talking about. So I have to go there knowing how to present the business and to present the content, and what is it that makes us different, and what is it that makes us special. So these are the things that we grapple with all the time. Another big obstacle, of course, is manpower, and that's why I use interns. Interns are awesome. You get the right interns. You feel so sad when you have to go to the army. You're like, no, why do you have to go and serve the army? Well, my father was in the army for 25 years, so I can say that. But yeah, so manpower is a big thing. So I'm very, very blessed when I get these young, energized people who are like, and just want to learn, and And so that's a big thing for us as well. I mean, we have people who want to volunteer, and we work with them, like, and because it's so malleable, I can say, okay, if you want to produce something, you know, I can teach you how to produce a program or an episode. But I think one of the things is manpower. So we're very fortunate to have interns and who want to come on board to work with us. In fact, we've had a lot of people who apply and say, you know, they believe in the program and what it does. So that's another thing as well. Wow, I could be here all day talking about obstacles. And I think one of the things that I can share with you is we have approached different brands before. And so I always tell the brands that want to work with us, or we approach that, you know, the only thing I ask is we maintain the integrity of the interviews. I do not sell products. I do not ask you what your skincare regime is. And I will not have, like, you know, product placement in the background or like on the table, the cup, you know. None of that. So we keep the integrity of the interview, and unfortunately, a lot of brands at the end of the day, I need to sell my product. How am I going to sell this skincare? You know, so we're very fortunate that SK2 wanted to work with us, which is, you know, pure. So they understood that. So you find that you need to find partners who have your vision as well, who believe in what you're trying to do, and they're not trying to just sell a product in your face. And I believe that advertising has to go beyond that as well, because the consumers are also getting smarter, and they don't want just in-your-face advertising. They want the brands to be associated with something more intelligent. You know, as women as well, we want to know that, hey, you know, actually they are, you know, they're very big into empowerment, and so I think we are also going for brands which may be few and far between, that really want to focus also, as well as with brand association. So that's another thing as well, is finding partners, finding the right partners. So I wouldn't call it an obstacle. I like to be positive about all these, you know, black dots on a white piece of paper, but I like to think of them as opportunities to think beyond, you know, to challenge yourself. It's more like a challenge than say, okay, you know, if this is not going to work out, then how can I learn from this, or how can I then go beyond what I've just thought about, you know, and that challenges me to think further. So everything that we've done up to this point is because of a challenge. Then we've not been able to cross that bridge, and so, you know, you kind of need to go, okay, how do I then get over to the other side, rowing a boat, or, you know, something, or building a raft. And so that for me is the second part of your question was on, sorry, I spoke.
Knock so many doors and you got rejected.
Yeah.
And you have to move
discipline on. My disappointment. I love that. I'm going to use that. It's like one of the I'll attribute it to one. I have to get your name later. I like that very much. I think no, really, what keeps me going really are the stories and the women, and I have amazing parents. I'm very blessed. I'm really nothing without my mom and dad. I'm an only child. You know, I require a lot of attention from the both of them. But I'm very fortunate. My parents are amazing. I am so blessed. They've never, I mean, they've always told me, we don't have money, we don't give you what you want, we give you what you need. And they said, you know, we'll support you till you're 16, and then, because I play piano, so I had to teach piano. But my parents have never, they've really supported me. And they say, you know, whatever you want to do, fine, just don't blame somebody if it goes wrong, and you accept the consequences yourself. And so I've just kind of lived with that my life, and they're very supportive. And I think I live with that all the time. You know, with my mom always tells me, you just try lah. You scared for what? You know, it's like, then, you know, if it's wrong, fail lah, start again lah. You know, my mom's like that. Mom is Teochew, so yes, yeah, Teochew. For those that say it's a part of China, never mind. As you see. So my mom's always like that. She's just like, yeah, doesn't work out, try again lah. So, you know, so what if you fail? You know, it's just, so I've always had that at the back of my head, and I've just kind of lived with that all the time, lived with a lot of disappointment. But I think the great thing about failure is that it pushes you to, like, kind of, you can, okay, there are two things, right? You can either go, I'm a loser, and fall flat on your face and blame the whole world, or you can go, you know what, screw it, don't believe in me, I'll try something else. You know, I mean, if you spend your entire life trying to be somebody who somebody else wants you to be, then you'll never find who you are, right? And it just kind of pushes me to go, okay, you know, I just have to think harder about this, or, you know, if I really believe in it, how can I overcome it? So I think how I discipline my disappointment is, firstly, with people who are very supportive of me. I work with an amazing manager who's also my best friend. and I have a very supportive family, and I feel very supportive friends, and I think sometimes that's all you need. And the women that we interview as well, we just came out in an interview, like I said, and she said it's just, I feel like I can just say anything I want. I'm like, yeah, this is because we always tell the women we interview that it is not my platform to ask you, but it's also your platform to speak. With each interview that you come out, it just makes you stronger and makes you want to keep going. And so I really am, what keeps me going really is the people around me and the people that I work with. And even like through Minnie and her team and the work that they do, and they're just doing everything, but they do everything with so much passion and so much commitment. And I think that drives me to want to keep going as well.
Two questions, and it's for both of you. Number one, I think very importantly, I noticed that both of you have very good connections. You actually know people from China, that's number one. And then you also know somebody who actually turned into an entrepreneur over in the Philippines. And I find that a bit difficult because, like for me, if I'm thinking of starting something and I know that I need something in Vietnam, for example, and I have no idea how to get there. I mean, other than getting myself on a plane and get there, but I will be very lost about who am I supposed to look for and where am I supposed to look for this person. That's number one. So how do you actually get your connections? Number two, I get overwhelmed every day, the things that I have to do to just get one step forward. So I'm just wondering, because you actually definitely have like 2 kids, right? 3 kids?
Yeah.
I don't know how you can actually manage so many businesses in one go. So how do you actually do it? I mean, I'm quite sure you have 8 hours of sleep, right? Or 5 or 4.
Unfortunately, entrepreneurs don't really sleep. It's a luxury to sleep. Basically, how do I handle with 3 children? My children are born. There are 7, 5 and 3 this year. Got married at 20. So I got the first child at 22, so I'm 29 now. Basically 4 years ago, I believe a lot in my dreams. Okay, that's first. Okay, secondly, just before, I don't want to go into such a sad story, but when I was 21, I lost my first son stillbirth. So my husband and I believe that the relationship with children is worth anything more than money in the world. So when we decided we want to build our careers, it will be around our children, and will always be for the children. So after that, when we start having children, 7, 5 and 3 years old now, I think when we believe that Baby Boss has a potential to grow, and we start winning contracts and we start seeing the income, and then we talk about to ourselves and we say, what are we going to do? We both want to be stay home. Not that we don't want to work, but we want to work with the children. So after that, I told my husband that the business was going to kick off really, really fast, the way I see it, and I wanted to do it so much. So he gave me all the freedom to do whatever I like. In exchange, my husband, who is a qualified engineer and pilot, resigned his job to take care of children. So he's been a stay-home father for the last 4 years while we grow the business. So, but because we believe more in the dreams than we do in money, so that is why we persevere to what we are, and that's how we get here today. So I think he will continue to be a stay-home father because he homeschools the children right now. So as much as how much that I'm going to grow from here, I look back and I just thank his sacrifices for what he has done for us. Because obviously he gave up his dream so that I can chase mine. So that's a tag team, partnership, marriage. And going back to the first question about trying to go to places you've never been. I know as an entrepreneur, you have to go to places you've never been, you try things you've never done before. The most important skill that you must adopt is being resourceful. You are not spoon-fed. How can you be a boss and a leader if you need to be spoon-fed? You need to spoon-feed your people. Unfortunately, I don't, so I don't know how they're coping. But basically, for me, when I told my husband that I was going to go to China, I just tell him I booked my flight. I'm going there for 3 days. That's it. That's it. And I went to China. And I try to be resourceful. I try to ask friends who's been to China. I go for a roadshow, finding out where to buy the tickets. Okay, I asked my secretary to do that, never mind. Okay, in any way, we are still resourceful. So I end up there, I don't know what to expect, but I was dying to find out what to expect. So when I go to Hong Kong, meet with 8 factories, they tell me where their factory is, I was eager to go. Because, 20 years from now, and you look back, you will regret more of the things you didn't do than what you did. So I told myself, if I don't go to China, I'll never will. And you don't know how the impact of working with China could contribute back so much to what we already been doing. So I just went with no fear. And I make sure that, of course, if you want to go to China, please do your research before you get there. But if you don't know how to read maps like I do, you got to learn. You don't know which flight to book, go and book. And eventually when you get there, you realize that you can overcome that obstacle already. So you conquered the unknown. So after that, you tell yourself, hey, I'm fearless. Whatever that comes my way, I'll take it anyway. And which is what Eunice says, which is true. When it comes to for failure, so what if you fail? You didn't die. Or if you die, there's insurance. But
maybe the first step should be get insurance.
Yeah, first step must get insurance, especially you're heavily invested on.
Moral of this talk is
no, but it's true. When it comes to failure, my tip for entrepreneurs is basically welcome challenges, embrace failures. Because for every losses that you face, the lesson that you learn is far valuable. And when you know how to not to lose money, you'll never lose money again.
So my point is about making that connection. I mean, I have no issue about going anywhere for it, but the thing is how do you actually make the connections?
just
you, like,
send
Google
out that
it?
email. Yep. So
yeah, so the point is getting is getting that connection that I require. You see, let's say for example, I need a marketing person or a brand person. Who do I go to? Because if none of my friends are actually, you know, brand strategies or whatever, so where do I go? You see, that's. And I don't want to pay, because usually when you Google, you have big companies and you end up having to pay them a fee, you know, blah blah blah.
this is for a business. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to understand the context. It's for a business that you're starting.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So for you, like for example, when you actually created that video, you have your own team who can come up with the video and everything else. So my question would then be, how do you actually find the people to interview?
Okay. Very good question. So so you know, whenever we film a video, we work with a production company. They're usually, or I work with a freelance cameraman. I work with a freelance sound guy. So it's usually 3 of us or 4 of us. We go in as a team. I work with a freelance research writer who they either a few things. One is Google. They'll find women online with good stories, and then you know they can compare. So the one of the things for Women Talk is we won't interview super very famous people. Just ordinary women who do extraordinary things. That's our kind of like our tagline, so to speak. So for the social entrepreneur you saw, it was a research writer that we worked with, just a freelance research writer who Google was supposed to work with the Gawat Kalinga project, the sisters. But then in the process of the research, he found this lady who didn't have a lot of attention, and we thought, let's interview her instead. So we literally sent an email. You connect to the organization and then you send an email. So, you know that there's this internet award called the Webbies, and then you get to give if you receive that award, you give a 5-word speech. It means all the speeches, and one of them said, "Thank God for the internet," and that's exactly how I feel. So you know, literally everything is. One thing about being an entrepreneur is you just develop this really thick skin and you just ask. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. And then you find somebody else. So I would say also utilize social media a lot and find interns. Interns! You know, maybe you're not looking for somebody who's an expert, but I always say, and I was just telling somebody just now, if you find somebody who is humble and has a good attitude and a willingness to learn, my intern is producing an episode of Women Talk. He is 19. He just finished his A-levels. He's going to army. Why is he going to the army? I can't let him go. He's going to the army. He's producing a whole episode of Women Talk because he said, oh, you know, I want to learn about production. I'm not sure what I want to study yet. And I said, okay, fine. If you want to learn production, go produce an episode. Because we are so... We literally can do anything, right? I mean, I can give opportunities to young people, to students. I know it's fine. It's a format. I mean, you just follow the format. You find the people. So he researched. He found this girl to interview that I'm going to interview on Friday. He went to interview her to do the pre-interview. He liaised with my production people. We taught him. I always assume people can do it until they ask questions. That's what I do. I don't like to micromanage people. You don't know, you ask. You don't ask, you get into trouble. That's what we do. You know, and he produced an episode of Women Talk. He's 19 and he just came out of A-levels. He never did any production work before. And he's going to be credited on Facebook as a producer for one of the episodes. So I would say, you know, don't underestimate that as well. I mean, because if you have the strategy in your mind, sometimes you just need to find a person who's willing to learn, especially if you don't have money like me. Yeah, so, you know, utilize Facebook, utilize social media. You will find somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who will find you that person who's willing to try to learn, and you'll make mistakes along the way. And trust me, I mean, my dear sweet intern has made many mistakes along the way, but it's okay. Because I learned something from his mistakes as well. And you know, and really don't downplay that. Don't downplay the idea of finding young people or people who are willing to learn something with you. You know, I find that sometimes if you give people the chance and the willingness to try, and they have a really good attitude, you know, something can come out of it. And because of him, now we have this wonderful girl that I'm going to interview, who's going to be our youngest Women Talk interviewer ever. She's 19. And so, yeah, you never know. So, like, I mean, with connections as well. I mean, in fact, even though Women Talk TV as well, some of the people that we've known, I've literally just sent them an email. I say, look, we have this thing. And we've had a lot of people who never reply. You know, I've been stood up for meetings before. I was at World Economic Forum in Davos, and somebody was like, oh, I was really interested in your project. And I waited 2 hours for him. He never showed up, sending 5 emails. So I've been stood up before and all that. But it's okay, because you will eventually find somebody through your Facebook network, through your friends. And don't be afraid to ask. I think one thing I learned, I did this executive education at Harvard, and one of the professors said that women tend to feel like when we ask, we're going to like destroy that relationship. It's true, you know. I feel like I'm a bit paiseh, yeah? Like ask and then like, maybe not. But you know, somebody told me one thing that I think makes a lot of sense sometimes. If you take yourself out of the project, you'll find that you will develop a big thick skin to asking. I do take myself out of Women Talk. Women Talk for me is not Eunice Olsen. That's why I never named it the Eunice Olsen Show. I named it Women Talk TV because it has to go beyond me. Tomorrow I get knocked down by a bus. This show has to go on with or without me, you know. So, I mean, you know, take yourself out of the equation and just develop that thick skin and just ask. No lah, never mind lah. Ruin relationships, never mind lah. Well, no, not never mind. But you see, the thing is that if you really ask people who believe in what you do, you won't ruin the relationship. You know, somebody told me one thing also that is big for me. A very, very close friend of mine. He said, when you ask for money, you get advice. When you ask for advice, you get money. Hi, so all my emails are, hi, can I meet you to get advice? Sure, got partnership one. So that is all. I mean, I'm happy to talk to you later more about what I've learned.
From a business point of view, I understand that I think you need a lot of suppliers to get things going, and you don't have the money to fund them. The reason why you don't have a lot of money is because you're a startup, right? So if you go to networking events such as this or other networking events where you exchange name cards during seminars, you realize that there are other startups. So if you talk to the startups who is a designer, trust me, they're not going to charge you rocket sky price. All they wanted was an opportunity to do, and they give you price that's reasonable, understanding that both of you are startups. So that's the connection that you get. Talking about social media marketing, you won't believe what social media marketing did for us. We have an cumulative of 40,000 followers today. So whenever we go on the website and we say, hi, we would like to supply to department stores. Anybody has links? Somebody is going to tell you, hi, I actually work there. This is the direct contact person, and I know the person. I'll tell her you're coming. And if you tell them, hi, this one is paiseh, thick skin, you say, okay. When 2012, we realized that we need a lot of money, and we didn't have it, okay, in 2011. So I put on Facebook, trust me or not, because I've already got that much followers, and I said that our company is expanding, so we're taking investments for the first time. So if you would like to be our private investors between this $1,000 to this $1,000, can you please call us? So thick skin, you know. In 1 week, they gave us 75 grand. So that's how we developed the project. So now, again, we always thick skin. Sometimes we said that, okay, we don't try to develop this project. We need 150 grand, so we need people to come. Like when we did the baking studio, it wasn't my money, it was the investors' money. But when we share the people our vision and what we want to achieve, look, hundreds of home bakers are going to make a difference with this place. Not me, I'm not doing it for me. Okay, so when we do that, people understand the vision, people will see your track records, that's when people will give you money. Okay, so, and also when we do events, my center director is here, 19 sponsors, 33 sponsors, so many people want to be a part of your mission to inspire. So again, that carries how your reputation is online. So just, number one, don't post controversial topics on Facebook. Number two, yeah, so if you keep your reputation on social media sites, you'll be surprised at what it will link you to.
Do we have any other questions? If not, I have a question. Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, Okay, this question is for Eunice. Yeah, but you actually gave me the courage to ask that question because it's a little bit more personal question, but I just want to know like whether this idea of doing this Woman Talk show is more of an entrepreneur viewpoint or it's more of a inspirational an idea that you've always wanted to do. Because I know that you've been to politics before, you know, and politics is a big platform, you know, where you can actually reach out to even more women and you know change policies even, you know, to inspire people. So is that an idea that you have? Because I know the inspiration is after you left politics, you know, but is it something you already have at the back of your mind, or this thing is from an entrepreneur point of view, or how you know actually not want to use politics as a platform to reach out? Yeah.
Well, okay, there are a few questions there. The first question is, did I always have an idea to do this? No. I never knew that Women Talk would come into my life when I left politics in 2009. So I went back into hosting and acting, but in 2010, I felt a huge gaping hole in my life because politics, and you're absolutely right, reaches out to many, many people. There's a wonderful platform. So I was just telling somebody just now that politics is, for me, to be an NMP was being a middleman between the policymakers and the people. Very powerful platform. So if I hear something here tomorrow, I can file a question to any ministry and any minister will have to respond. And then you take that idea out into the media and then you start a public debate, right? But it's not, the reason why I left, not that I wanted to, but I had done 2 terms. I served for almost 4.5 years. And the NMP position was enacted so that everyday Singaporeans could have a voice in Parliament. I was there for 4.5 years. I am a huge believer in renewal of ideas. It was very difficult for me to leave, but I had to. Because, and it wasn't that I run out of things to say, there's always things to talk about and things to say. But I felt that we needed a new person there, a new fresh perspective there. Having left politics was very tough for me because I spent more time in politics than I did in my career. But that was the way that I made that decision, and I had to stand by it. And I really didn't want it to be about Eunice Olsen. It had to be about what was the best for Singaporeans. And I believe that because of this platform, and it's not an MP thing when you have a constituency and then you follow through with them, you know. So I made a decision, you know, and I told my parents, I said, yeah, I've done 4.5 years. I've given everything that I could have given, but I think it's time for me to pave that way for somebody else to come along, right? And so in 2010 was very tough for me. It was a very, very difficult year. I was extremely lost. I went to the US to study acting. I did a course in acting and then just kind of tried to do a couple of films there. And I couldn't fill that hole that politics left in my life. I went back to hosting and acting, and I mean, it was great. But I never thought that Women Talk TV and the other project, 350, and my nonprofit would come into my life. They were not dreams that I had before. I mean, I've hosted talk shows before, in Singapore as well as on cable, but I never had a dream to do my own. A lot of people have asked me before, but, you know, I mean, it's like, for me, it's like, unless there is a very strong reason for me to do it, it's not just like, I want to do something. I mean, I think it's so much more meaningful when I want to do something, but there's a meaning there and something that I strongly believe in, not just for, you know, because you run out of that after a while, right? You know, the whole wanting to do something for myself thing. Well, for me at least. And so I never thought that Women Talk would come along. But when it happened, just talking about it, the idea kind of developed. And it's like when you see something and you can't turn back from it. That's how Women Talk started. It's like you see an issue and you feel like, I want to address it. And then it kind of just grew from there. So, and I always tell people though, that politics is not the only way to serve. There are many, many different ways. Whether you're a social entrepreneur, an accountant, lawyer, doctor, engineer, teacher, you can serve in so many ways. It's always about what you want to do with what you have. You know, so I mean, for me, it was my training as a host. I've been doing this for 14 years. And as a result of working with different groups and understanding of issues, I am really not an expert on any women's issue. I'm not. Everything I know, I learned from people that I work with and from my experience of interviewing people. And just suddenly made sense to bring everything together into this. It was like a need that I managed, or thank goodness that that it came about, and a need that I felt that I could address through what I've learned in my life. And that's why when I say, when we shot the first episode, I didn't even know this was going to be so permanent like that. I seriously had no idea. But when we shot the first episode, and I told my makeup artist, Red, and I said, this is my life, this is what my life, this is everything I've done is coming together in this program. And it just started from there. And so where is it going to go? How long is it going to be? I don't know. Whether it's successful, we'll close down tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but I really don't know. But I think as we progress and as the interviews I do, I realize, like I was saying, that it has grown beyond me. It has grown beyond what I want. It is now my duty to keep this going. And I have become an employer of Women Talk TV. And it's really grown into something that I have to keep going. Thanks.
So on that note, if you were to give an advice to people considering starting up a business or an enterprise, what would your top 3 tips be, both of you? Anyone with just the idea coming into their head?
Okay, is this on? Yeah. Okay, firstly I would like to tell the people that success is basically not measured by the many achievements you make. I don't even care how many awards I'm given. It's just about the many times that I fall down, overcome failures, and still stand up again. So that's 1. Number 2, learn never to compare yourself with other people, because you don't know what battle they are fighting against. So everybody has a different battle. So do not be sensible always, be kind, and just stay focused on what you're supposed to go. And thirdly, your dreams is like a seed. So a seed, in order to go to a plant, you need many other things. You need nurturing, you need sunlight, the plants need probably fertilizers and food. So basically, that if there's an opportunity to collaborate for a win-win situation, don't think that you can just do it alone, because there's only so much 2 hands can do. So if you have to delegate, do it. If you have to share responsibility, do it. If you have to collaborate so that your whole company can go forward, then do it. So ego aside, partnership first, and work on maintaining a good relationship in business.
I agree. I was going to go believe, and believe. But, I think, like what she said, and maybe just to rephrase, I think the first thing for me is to be fearless of failure. You cannot, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you cannot fear failure. You will fail again and again, but you cannot fear failure. That's one thing. You really have to believe in what you're doing. Seriously, you really have to believe in it, because you will be questioned so many times along the way on your journey by everybody, and they will like, trust me, I get this like, but then how you make money? Every day of my life, okay? And we are still, like I said, we're not there yet, so you really have to have the conviction as to why I want to do this. And third, do not be afraid of working with people way smarter than you. Find these people who are way smarter and way better than you and work with them. Don't be afraid to work with people who know this better than, I mean, seriously, I love it when my 19-year-old intern challenges me on ideas. And he's like, oh, quite apprehensive, but I'm like, no, tell me, and he does. And I love that, because they make you look good. And no, but seriously, you learn so much more, and don't limit yourself. Don't say, I have to control everything and manage everything. No. I know it's only 3, but I'm going to add in 4 because I'm a rebel. Yeah, and I think also, nobody gets to where they are alone, like what she said. Nobody does. You will find great people along the way who will help you, but I think beyond that, always remember who these people are, and always be grateful to them. Because you will have people in your life, like passing clouds, they will come in your life and they will go. But and the fifth thing is everything happens for a reason. So, but no, seriously, don't forget these people, because if you believe in something and you focus on the work will speak for itself. Seriously, the work always speaks for itself, and just don't worry so much everything. Just focus on what the work is. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
I hope these inspiring women have actually inspired you to go forth with your idea and start your own business or entrepreneurship. So can we give a big round of applause to these ladies?